Welcome back to the Ciel Power Podcast. I'm being visited again by Farah Ahmad, who's a green building expert. She's doing a 5-part series with us on the different things that homeowners should be on the lookout for with their houses. Farah, welcome back. If you don't follow Farah on Instagram, I have to do a timeout here. It's Renewable Farah on Instagram. She posts some of the most thoughtful, wonderful content. Follow her immediately. But let's jump right into it. Today, we're going to talk about windows and doors. Farah, that's probably the number one thing that people call our office asking about is they want to replace windows and doors. How important are windows and doors to the overall building envelope?
Oh, it's a great question, and it's not emphasized enough. So windows and doors is where we get a lot of leakage, and I'm sure you've seen that. And the reason is because when we have a lot of conditioned air, it just takes a few inches or an inch gap for something to just escape and really throw off all your energy loads. So we want to pay attention to windows and doors 100%.
That's right. It's on the coldest days. Some of the phone calls that we get, particularly from people who are freezing in their rooms, is, oh my gosh, I'm so cold. And one of the things that we suggest to them is just go around the room and make sure that both ends of your double hung window are fully engaged, because sometimes with these double hung windows, the top part of it slides down an inch or two and it's literally an open window that is letting in a bunch of cold air on the coldest winter day, and your heater is kicking on trying to compensate for that. But what should homeowners be on the lookout besides making sure that their windows are fully closed and latched on heating and cooling days?
Yes, so gaps in the framing, which is what is causing a lot of the air leakage. Leaky frames are a huge issue, and something that a lot of homeowners can do, just DIY hack, something you can do easily. You don't necessarily need a professional for it, but you can do a quick touch-up. And any time when you notice this, it's to just caulk or use sealant. Use the appropriate kind to just really quickly fill in that hole and terminate that gap right away.
So you're saying that somebody who's feeling a draft from where the windows are, it might not be the windows. It might be that there's when the window was installed, they didn't do a nice job sealing or caulking around the edges of it.
Exactly.
So you're suggesting that they go around and look at that area and run a bead of caulk there?
Yep, exactly. And a lot of times you can find that where your window frame meets your siding, that joint is where you can have a lot of gaps as well.
Wow. So instead of spending $2,500 on a new window, you can spend $2 on a tube of caulk and be just as comfortable.
Exactly.
Huh?
And there's alternate solutions. There's also weather stripping that you can put around on the sides or the end near your sashes to just, again, seal it and lock it in.
Okay.
And something so simple that a lot of us maybe don't do because we've got all this hardware, this fancy hardware attached to our windows. If you simply just lock your windows, that actually helps push your window into the frame. And if you're not using that window, it's in a vacant guest room somewhere, make sure that window hardware is locked so that the window is really sealed and set in place.
I've trained even myself to go around the house once a month and just make sure that all of the latches are fully engaged, because inevitably my teenage daughters will open up the window and let the heat out and not fully close it again. So I programmed myself to do that once a month.
Yep, and that's just a simple way, and it saves you so much energy. But then for those homeowners that are in the market for something a little bit more, let's say not necessarily extravagant, but have the time and capacity to invest in something a bit more long-term, what you can do is actually add a storm window. So let's say you're in an older home that has a single pane of glass, a home from the 90s or earlier. One simple solution might be to just add that storm window, which is a removable pane of glass that you can just put right over your current window without disrupting it, without having to dismantle anything. Put that over and it creates a second layer. So you're essentially creating a double pane window, and it's something that you can operate, open up you can just pull that window open and it won't disrupt how you operate your current window that's in place.
Wow.
So again, that storm window that creates a second layer of insulation, traps any air, conditioned air, and you won't lose any heat. Just another great way to seal.
Amazing. So windows have evolved over the years. Some of us live in an older home, some of us live in a newer home. What are some red flags that we should be looking out for with regard to our windows? I mean, obviously, if the window is broken and it's hanging on, half hanging on its hinge, and that type of window needs to be replaced immediately. But if I have one pane of glass, if I have two pane of glass, if I have three panes of glass, if there's a little condensation happening in my window, what are some of the red flags that I as a homeowner should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think one of the easiest things we can look at is the weather stripping and whether it's tearing or worn out. That's when we can go ahead and replace it right away. Another quick test is to just take a candle, place it near your window and see where that air is coming from. If your window is closed but your candle is still able to blow out, you know that there's air leaking in and out. And it's a great hack for doors too, which we'll get into next.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Don't set your house on fire. Take your curtains down first when you do that before putting the candle up there. But that's an interesting hack. I hadn't heard that before. All right. Anything else that homeowners should be on the lookout for windows and doors?
So I think windows and doors specifically, and actually if we get into fenestration, U factors. So if you're in the market for new windows and you can make that investment, take a look at your U factor for your windows. And you may or may not have that readily available, but know that energy codes are increasing in stringency. The new energy codes now are for the IECC 2024 are proposing a U of 0.3, which is a window that is readily available on the market. There are plenty of American manufacturers that can make that window and it's already on the market. But if you're in an older home and you haven't replaced your window in a while, knowing what U factor and what solar heat gain coefficient your windows could potentially be performing at and what's on the market will help you make a better decision about what windows to upgrade to. What
Do
if
you
there's
have a recommended level that you would like to see people to purchase?
U.3 because that is currently the next energy code target. There are windows as low as U.25, and these are these passive house, ultra high performance level windows that are out there. But if you have a single pane window, that is probably going to be your biggest red flag. If you have a double pane window that's already in your home, you're probably just fine. There's no need to necessarily upgrade to a triple glazed. But if you're in a bigger building and you want to lock in your savings, the triple glaze is a good investment. But again, the double pane will get you there. Just make sure that your U factor is great.
And for those who don't know, the U works inverted to the R. So the lower the U number, the higher the performance of the window versus the higher the R value, the higher the performance on insulation. So it's an inverted number that they came up with just to confuse everybody. But
exactly. And we have to continue looking at window performance. And with doors, I just want to add that the sealing around doors, again, we can take a look at caulk and sealant to fill those gaps. But we should also be taking a look at the threshold and replacing the weather stripping or perhaps attaching a sweep there that will, again, just lock in that air that's infiltrating in and out. It's just, again, I can't emphasize enough that small gap that can have air and heat leak in and out and just causes such a difference.
it's another $2 expenditure that you can get a big return on your investment from. And also the Inflation Reduction Act, which was passed back in 2022, is now offering, starting in 2023, is now offering incentives to upgrade your windows and doors. The incentives are renewable each year, so you may want to spread that improvement out, maybe do 5 windows this year, 5 windows next year, maybe do a door the following year. Whatever, you want to pick out your worst offenders and then gradually improve from that point forward. But there is a series of tax credits up to $1,200 that's available to homeowners for making this improvement. But I believe that caps out at $600 for windows and $600 for doors as well. So, Farah, this was amazing. It was great having you here to have this conversation about windows and doors. Anything else that should be on our minds before we wrap up?
Take a look at what's in your local energy code. I can't emphasize that enough. Understand what the performance values are that are prescribed, and then look at your product labels to see if they are meeting that requirement. And then empower yourself and educate your contractors and let them know that this is the product that you want.
Amazing. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure having you here in the studio with us, and come back, subscribe for more of this type of content. Follow us on Instagram, Renewable Farah, Ciel Power. Follow us on Instagram. We're on pretty much every channel. So we'll see you out there, and we'll look forward to the next episode.
Thank you, Scott.